Welcome to Overtime Yu-Gi-Oh! This is my hero deck profile. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to start off with the main deck. First, we're going to do our Elemental Hero package. We're starting off with 2 Stratos, 2 Shadow Mist, our Liquid Soldier, our Spirit of Neos, and our Honest Neos. Now, the Stratos, the Shadow Mist, these are very standard, right? Everybody runs these. Stratos at 2 just because we have so many starters to search him out. We're running a couple things to sneak him out, and Shadow Mist at 2 just because if you break one, you don't want to be able to. You kind of want to have one in your hand sometimes and one not in your hand sometimes, so this one varies. Nice to have. Liquid Soldier at 1, he's super easy to search. You don't really want to open him. Honest Neos. These two, let's just talk about these two for a second. These guys right here, Honest Neos and Spirit of Neos, these are kind of controversial, right? Some people run Honest Neos, they're like, oh, he's a Fusion Destiny target. I don't really run him for that. I run him for the fact that he is the best protection for your copies of Dark Law, for your copies of Plasma, things like that. Honest Neos is your guy. He's just going to boost that attack power, keep him alive. He's not always useful, though, since we are running Dark Angel in this profile. Spirit of Neos. Now, this is a very controversial card. Some people run it. Some people think, oh, he's just for Neos profiles. This right here, he's variable. I'm running him kind of to fill space right now. Also, he's useful for when your Vion engine gets shut down. If you brick the increase, this is your way to poly. And with new cards like the Ian Shuffle that you'll see in this profile in a second, he can be useful. So that's our Elemental Hero package. We'll lay that out again right here. We're going to do our Vision Heroes. 2 Ferris, 2 Vion, 1 Increase. Now, people think these ratios are weird, right? 2 Ferris, people are like, oh, you want to see him, you want to start with him. I don't really care, honestly. He's an okay card to start with, really, but in my opinion, he's really good to search out. He's not always going to be useful, especially if you're opening these 2 cards together. Then he's useless, right? He's a free body on the board. Sometimes I'll search him when I have this card in the hand even to get a body on the board to link away. But yeah, 2 Vion's pretty standard. People usually just run that. 1 Increase, you brick it. You lose your Ferris line. It happens. Deal with it. It's not worth running 2 because you're breaking him double as often. That is my theory on that. Now this is where it gets a little deviated. This is our Destiny Hero package. So 2 Malicious, the classic, Denier, Plasma, Dark Angel. This is our DPE. This is our Flood. These are our Floodgates. These cards are stopping our opponent from playing. This is our hand traps. And then finally, we're running a Celestial. He's a little slow for Destiny Heroes, or just for heroes in general. He is a little slow, having to wait till the next turn, having to get rid of another Destiny Hero. This guy is a cut. He is something that he's optional. I might cut him. And at the end of this profile, I'm going to show you guys some cards I'm thinking about replacing and what I would replace them with. I just like him for the follow-up, the crackback, because even if they do break our board, if we've got these 2 cards in the graveyard, our Denier is usually used up after turn 1. And so the second Destiny Hero that you have to banish, he is a free target. Moving on to the spells, we are running 3 copies of Hero Lives. That's our starter. 3 copies of Fusion Destiny, another starter. 3 Master Change, mandatory. Dark Law is the best in current format. That's the 3 ofs. For the 2 ofs, we're running 2 Ian Shuffles, 2 E Emergency Calls, 2 D-Force, and then for our 1 ofs, we are doing a Tactics, a Miracle Fusion, a Poly, and a Rhoda. So there's some things to discuss here. For instance, D-Force, the Emergency Call. Since I am running 2 copies of Stratos, this is a lifesaver. It is 2 more copies of Rhoda in this deck, It gets us our starter when we need it. And this is our hand trap. This is our board breaker, our hand trap. Shout out to D-Time Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll put a link to his channel in the comments. He pioneered this card. This card is our floodgate. It's our hand trap. We're not running hand traps in this deck, by the way. So this is what stops our opponent from playing. This is our board breaker. It is everything. Only at a 2-of because we do not super want to open this. I mean, it's a cool resource to have because it does let you get a search like this card. But really, what this card is for is you want to hard draw it with your Liquid Soldier, because you always want to hard draw this or another card I'll show later, and that really decides if you're going into Dark Angel or D-Force, or Plasma, because you don't super want to do both because Plasma does negate your Dark Angel. If you looked at the 1-ofs, you'll notice I'm not running Call By, which is very common in Heroes, running Call By. I don't think it's necessary. It doesn't put in enough work. Tactics is my replacement. I would rather, if my Stratos doesn't pop off because it gets ashed, that's fine if I get to draw 2. Or I get to get something out of your hand. If you have follow-up, you always look at their hand. You get something out of their hand, you get rid of their second hand trap. You get rid of something that they have that is going to hurt you this turn, you get rid of it with this card. And you get to know what they're on to see what you're going to play. If you don't have any follow-up, draw 2, because that's what's going to save you the game. Ian Shuffle's a great card. We aren't running Neos, so we don't get the draw effect, but that's fine. This card really is, it's a 1-card Dark Law if you've got Stratos. That's a 2-card Dark Law, but it's nice. It is kind of like Ian Neospace, or Engage Neospace. And yeah, and these are all mandatory, the 3-ofs. They're just, you need those. You want to see them as often as possible. Moving on to the traps, we're running 3 traps. We are running 2 copies of Rivalry in the main and a Favorite Contact. So explanations on these. Some of you may have never seen this card before. It is a Neos card. It is for a Neos deck. However, I really like using this for follow-up, bringing out, because it says special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck, shuffling materials from anywhere, ignoring, not shuffle, sorry, you put the materials on the bottom of the deck and you're ignoring summoning requirements, ignoring them. So you get to bring out Sunrise, you get to bring out Ab-Zero, you can bring out pretty much any of your heroes. You can even bring out, you don't want to bring out Trinity with this, because, which we are running in this deck, because when that card only gets its effects on fusion summoning. This is special summoning, but it's just a really nice follow-up. This is another cut. If you don't want to run it, you don't have to. You can replace this for a hand trap or something. I really like it for whenever I bring out that Spirit of Neos, and I've already searched my poly. This is kind of my second option. And then Rivalry of the Warlords in the main deck. 2 copies, so we're not breaking it too often. I had a game in locals recently where I opened 3 copies of it. 3 copies. And that was brutal. That was very brutal. I actually ended up winning that game, but I had to T-set this with a Shadow Mist. It was 2005 Yu-Gi-Oh! It was crazy. You can get the Dark Angel lock with this card. You stop Sprite. This card is ridiculous to not be in the main deck. A lot of people run this in the side. This is a main deck card. If you are running it in your side, this deck is built around going first. And if you go second, pray. It's pretty much a scoop. And that sucks, but that's kind of how heroes are. You don't want to build your deck, or at least from my theory, building a deck around, oh, I could go first or second, but I'm going to go kind of mid on both. I'd rather, I'm going to crush going first, and I can break going second. Let's pray. Sorry about that. My camera was starting to come a little undone. I will, at the end of the video, I'll show you my camera setup. It is the definition of jank. So there are some cuts in here. Anyways, back to the profile. There are some cuts in here, but it's been serving me pretty well in tournament. I topped once. I kind of hover around 3-1, 2-2, around there. This is the final profile, though, and I have not tested this out in locals. So we'll see. And I'll go over what to do with the cuts at the end. So it is a 40-card deck. I was playing 43 in locals for a bit. 3 3 copies of D-Force, 3 copies of Rivalry, but this is what I've found kind of works. Let's move on to that extra deck. DPE. Classic, 1 copy. These are going to be organized in order of usage rate. That's kind of how I organize them, just so I can filter through them really quick in the tournament. You can see the camera tilting upwards right now. I'll show you why in the end. DPE, Sunrise, 2 Dark Law. Here, let me do this in a better way. DPE, Sunrise, 2 Dark Law, Cross Crusader. Oh my gosh. One moment. All right, Cross Crusader, 2 copies of that. A Wonder Driver. This is kind of, those are the mandatories, right? Every hero deck is running those. Those are what you do in heroes. This is where it gets kind of weird. We are running all 3 of the Destiny heroes. We are running Dominance, Dystopia, Dangerous. I have not made this card once. I'm thinking about cutting it. This card, it is your burn. This is how you win games on time, on a time crunch. Fusion Destiny, into this, you win. Dominance is really weird. I have made him a bunch of times in locals. He's kind of like your alternate Fusion Destiny target. You go into him, and then you use the Malicious and the Denier Engraved to get your DPE out. So you have him and DPE, then you pop him with DPE, and you get to you get to special summon a bunch of shit from your graveyard. So that kind of is a reason to run a different Destiny hero than Celestial, but I'll get into that in a moment. For your Omni-Heroes, Escuridow and Ab-Zero, these are the only ones that are really useful in the deck. I am considering, since I started running Honest Neos and Spirit of Neos, running the light one, the Shining. He's pretty good for going for game, but again, pretty situational. I never make Ab-Zero. I make Escuridow all the time. Trinity. Going for game, this is your best friend. Lets you attack. Let me bring him back. Lets you attack 3 times. He lets you. He has 5,000 attack. Attacks 3 times. Sometimes. And the guy who I'm learning heroes from, his name's Adrian. He runs the shop. Shout out to him. He is awesome. He doesn't run the shop, but he's kind of like my guy at the shop. He put me onto this card. He lets me borrow it from him. I ended up getting my own copy just because how much work it put in. This card's awesome. Blast. I have never made this card once. I see the use for it, and that's why I continue to run it. There is a use for him. If you need your Stratos to go off, you mask change it with this to dodge Imperm. I get it. You mask change it into this to dodge Imperm. He also lets you wipe back row. I get it. I just have never had it used. Abyss Dweller. This is the oh shit button. Again, I have never made this card, but if you get hand trapped to death, you hero lives, or you get negated or whatever, you hero lives and then summon a level 4 and you make this. It beats tier, it's broken. Now for the side deck, we've got 3 copies of Crow. This is our Bestial. Heroes cannot run Bestials. Because of a hero lives, they just can't do it. 3 Crows, 2 Ash, 2 Ghost Spell. Hand traps are on the side for a reason. This is a combo deck beside those in going second. Dark Ruler. Heroes have a really hard time breaking boards. This is how we do it. Cosmic. That is for if someone is running Anti-Spell. I lost to Anti-Spell because I wasn't running Cosmic, and I will not make that mistake again. And then this is this is all very standard, right? People run this. I mean, sure, people run Nibiru, people run Evenly Matched, people run Lightning Storm. This is kind of the budget version of that. This is where it gets weird. 3 copies of Summon Limit. Now, heroes like to summon, sure. If you're going first with this deck, I mean, the deck is built to go first. There's not a lot you're siding out. But let's say Rivalry's missing. Let's say Dark Angel isn't really hitting super hard. They don't really use spells. Or Plasma's not hitting super hard. Side out your Rivalry and your Dark Angel, or side out your D-Forces and your Plasma. Put this in. This is the best floodgate in the game right now. Every deck is summoning more than twice. I have dropped this down so many times and won just because they do not know what to do because of this card. It is crazy. This is our hidden thing. No one's ever going to see this. Obviously, the side deck is completely all over the place, so everybody has a different side deck. This is my weird tech. We're going to get into some cards that I'm thinking about swapping for some cards in my deck. So let's look at the cuts. Celestial is a cut. He is something that is not super necessary in the deck. I was thinking about getting rid of Spirit of Neos. Card's kind of a miss. Again, having another Fusion Destiny target's nice if your Malicious gets hit, but we already have Honest Neos. And then I was also considering taking out the Favorite Contact. Now, you can get rid of these things for hand traps. And sure, I mean, running hand traps in Heroes is great. You can run Droplet, right? But Celestial, we need that extra Destiny hero name so this is gas, and you don't want to get rid of gas in Heroes. You need materials to use. You need something to... You just want to flood the board. You need gas. You need something to go with. And this is for making dominance. So let's start with this card. If we're going to switch this card out, because it is slow, we want to switch it out for a Destiny hero. And the card I've been considering is Draw Hand. Draw Hand is really interesting. When you special summon him from the graveyard, you get to force both players to draw a card. Awesome, +1, right? But your opponent gets the +1. That sucks. Well, people forget about Dark Law's second effect, and this is kind of what Adrian again taught me this. Dark Law has an effect where if your opponent adds a card to their hand, you can make them banish a random card out of their hand. And so what this becomes is not a +1 for both players. It's a +1 for you and a possibility to banish Engine out of your opponent's hand, which is really nice. He also, if you don't have an opportunity to special summon him on your turn through one of your own effects, this card will special summon itself on the standby phase. And then if you, for some reason, ran out of gas and you didn't have something to mass change, boom, that's your mass change target if you had that card set. So I am considering switching the Celestial out for that card. It is still a consideration. I am still thinking about it. So we'll put this back over here, get rid of this. Spirit of Neos, right? What is his function? He searches for poly. Okay, he's fusion material. Those are his two main functions. Well, what is another card that does that? King of the Swamp, right? And you might say, oh, only heroes, only use heroes. Well, King of the Swamp can be a hero if you want it to be. Being able to send this guy to the graveyard to search a poly, that is broken. That is amazing. If your Vion line gets shut down, this is Vion. And heroes need poly so bad. The amount of times I've had my Vion get negated, especially with Bestials nowadays and things like that, getting rid of my target, getting rid of the heroes in my graveyard that I would banish for Vion, this is another route to poly. Also, it allows you to run things like Destiny in Dragoon. It allows you to run Brave Neos. It allows you to just run these weird cards because, like, you can use this, send it to the graveyard to search a poly, right? Miracle Fusion it to make Brave Neos. And you can just Miracle Fusion with any other card in your graveyard. So now this card is used 2 times in the same turn. That's so awesome, right? While this card is seeing almost no use. Very weird tech. I'm still considering it, but I think this could be something. Especially if you're running it with Destiny and Dragoon. This deck does lock you into heroes really often, so Destiny and Dragoon is probably not being made super often, but a free poly search, and if you have Brave Neos, it's a cool card to run. He is Elemental Hero Neos. Also, if for some reason you're running the Neospatians in your Omni-Heroes, this guy works really well. He's a Neospatian name. So we'll put this back over here. And then this card is, if we're cutting this, we need to get rid of this. And so this card is a really weird slot, right? It's a 1-card slot. What do you need a 1 of in your deck of, right? So we can add back the Call By, which is not a bad idea. right? Called by is great. This is a combo deck. You want your combo to pop off. So sure, add them back, right? Or we can do a copy of Tactics. We can do a Hand Trap, something like that. I'm really not sure right now. But called by, I do kind of miss it sometimes. And then finally, because cards like Dweller and cards like Dangerous are seeing no play in my deck, I've been thinking about cutting them. And I was talking about the light Omni-Hero. Another option is this guy, Dread Decimator. Very basic. He says 2+ heroes. He has a link 3. Makes all your heroes gain attack for amount of heroes in your graveyard, and he does piercing. This guy's awesome.
All right, now that we've gone over some of the cuts, we're going to go ahead and go into some test hands.
And let's do a test hand. So, Emergency Call, Favorite Contact, Fusion Destiny, D-Force, and a triple tack. Wow, that is a terrible hand. Now, we can do something with this. So I like to divide my hand up into like kind of backup stuff and gas. So let's set this over here. First thing we're going to do, we're going to need our starter. So we'll go Emergency Call. In this scenario, if this got ashed or whatever, we have triple tack, you know? So that's awesome. So we Emergency Call. We're going to go into our Stratos. Look at that. Have one on the bottom. This is that little lucky spotted one. I like that one a lot. Throw that to the grave. We're going to normal our Stratos, and here I normally would go Ferris, but since we don't have another hero in the hand, we can't. But we have D-Force, so if we're willing to get rid of our Plasma, we can. I think we might have to, so let's just go down the Ferris line. So we're going to search our Ferris. Ferris here. And then we're going to go ahead and activate D-Force. Now this is a continuous spell, so it's going to stay here. It's going to let us search our Plasma. So it's kind of like another Emergency Call. Pretty nice. Plasma. And then we're going to declare effect of Ferris, sending our Plasma away. Special Summon. Declare effect again to place our Increase from the deck. Increase. And then we pop off that Increase effect, tributing the Ferris. I like to leave the Stratos on the board just because he is a different attribute, so I can use him for Sunrise. So we special that Increase effect on Summon to bring out our Vion. And since we have Fusion Destiny in that hand, we do not want to get we don't want to put our Misters in the grave with our Vion. So Vion effect, we're going to Foolish our Shadow Mist. We don't have Mask Change, so we do have an option here. We can Foolish the Shadow Mist, not activate its effect on grave to search, but instead go straight into Fusion Destiny. Oh, you know what? But then we'd be locked in dark. So we're going to go with the Shadow Mist effect, and we're going to grab ourselves our Liquid Soldier. Really, the Fusion Destiny is what makes this hand. It is what saves us. So we were able to do all of this off of just Emergency Call and D-Force, which is really cool. And we're still going. So Vion effect again, banishing our Ferris. I never banish the Shadow Mist. I like having elemental heroes in the graveyard for Eskery Dow, things like that. So we go banish the Ferris to search our Poly. Here, I'll put my banish down here so you guys can see it. Sorry about the setup again. It's pretty weird. Let me try to adjust it a little bit so we can get a little bit better of a view on our board. There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so banish the Ferris. Can we throw this up here? We can. Okay, we're going to banish the Ferris. Sorry you can't see my graveyard. Again, the setup is a little bunk. But banish the Ferris, search a Poly. Back to it. Let's get that Poly back in that hand. So now, again, we've refilled our hand with searches. Pretty crazy. We're not locked in dark yet, so we're going to throw these guys away, link them away into our Wonder Driver. I usually have this backwards. So we're going to throw that in that link zone. Here, let me put this in the closer one. So we're going to put that in the link zone and then go poly into Liquid Soldier Stratos. And that is going to give us our Sunrise. We do not know what we're doing yet. We could go into Dark Angel still, so we're going to go into Defense position. So that's going to trigger three things here. That's going to trigger our Sunrise, our Wonder Driver, and our Liquid Soldier. The least important of these effects is Sunrise, so we go Liquid Soldier, then Wonder Driver, then Sunrise, right? We can also do Wonder Driver on the Chain Link 3 because that can't get ashed, so I think we will do that. Liquid Soldier, Sunrise, Wonder Driver. Wonder Driver is going to let us place that poly that just went to our grave. We get to place it back, right, because we special summoned. 2 is Sunrise. It's going to let us grab our Miracle Fusion. Yeah, so chain blocking is really important in Heroes. You chain block the Shadow Mist with Ferris. It's really nice. And then we're going to go Liquid Soldier on Grave. Let's draw 2, discard 1. So we're going to do a bit of a shuffle. And then we'll shuffle a few times because we do not shuffle through this. In tournament, shuffle every few searches. Depends on who you're playing against. If you're playing against a real stickler, shuffle every search. And then also at the end of your turn, just because you are doing so much searching that if you shuffle every single time, it's going to take forever and you're going to clock out. So we're going to do that standard cut, draw 2. So we draw our mass change. Oh, there we go. And Hero Lives. Hero Lives is useless now. So we're going to drop that off. And there we go. We picked up our mass change. Pretty awesome. So now that we are pretty much done with all the gas that we have, now we Fusion Destiny. Isn't that crazy? Fusion Destiny at the end of a combo. We're done with our gas and we go into Fusion Destiny. Here, we do have our poly set. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to show the line where we go Celestial, Malicious, and Denier, just to show why I'm running that third Destiny hero. We go those 3 into our Dominance. And this guy is going to be destroyed. We do want to put him in attack position, though, because we know we're not going into... Well, let's just put him in defense for now. He is a lot bigger, or 300 attack bigger on attack, so it's not a huge deal. And then here, we would look at the top 5 cards of our opponent's graveyard, make them brick, and this guy's really cool with draw hand, because you make them brick, and then you draw hand that brick, so they're like, oh, awesome, I get to draw an extra card, and it's a brick, and then you get to banish something. So awesome. So that guy's up, and then we're going to go with Malicious Effect, banish himself, to special summon a Malicious. We are going to link away because everything we're doing is still dark. We're linking away into our Cross Crusader. He's going to target our Malicious in Grave, who's going to special himself back. We are then going to... we could go Denier here. So here's the thing. If we Tribute, we have to use our Malicious again, and we won't be able to get our Shadow Mist. Or sorry, our Mass Change. Actually, we will, because we have Cross Crusader. So let's Tribute him and search a hero. We really can go into a lot of stuff here. Not most of it is useful, is the thing. We'll go ahead and Dark Angel lock them. Yeah, let's just Dark Angel. Not lock, because we don't have the rivalry, but we'll Dark Angel them. So, we've got our Dark Angel. And look at this. Still 5 cards in hand. Check this out. So we do that. We then go Denier Effect, Special Summon, who's going to put our Malicious back on top of the deck. We're going to banish this copy to Special Summon. And now we're going to go Polymerization, using these guys, into It's Me, stolen from D-Time Yu-Gi-Oh!, DPE. There we go. Shoutouts to him again. He really has helped me build this deck. Never met him personally, of course, but his videos are super informative. So now we're going to Mass Change away the Cross Crusader. A lot of people set the Mass Change. I think it's more prone to getting negated that way. I really can't be bothered. So we go there, Mass Change him away into our Dark Law. All of this off of a pretty hard brick. Pretty cool. Dark Angel effect. If you don't know, we get to discard him if we have 3 or more Destiny Heroes in our graveyard, and then special summon into our opponent's board. So we'll just put them there. Now, all of this is follow-up. We set the favorite contact, right? And this is our board breaking protection. So let's say they are going to like, let's look at our targets for this. So no, no, yes, 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 no, no. So we have 3 targets left in our graveyard for this. Ab-Zero, Escaridao, and Dystopia. And they serve very different functions. So let's say they set up a board where they're going for a board wipe. Ab-Zero. We go into Ab-Zero, we chain with we chain to their board wipe, their favorite contact, and now they're getting board wiped. Escaridao, that's our follow-up if we're going for game next turn. And this is kind of a weird play, but it's kind of burn damage if we need it. For some reason, if they pay a bunch of life points on their turn, this guy's going to burn them out on their turn. If people are playing the Winged Dragon of Ra. So we go ahead and set that favorite contact. This is follow-up. This is going to help us OTK them on the crackback. Now, this is a pretty brutal board. We have used up everything in our graveyard, so it's pretty much all gone. Oh yeah, on the follow-up we have Celestial. So that's also good on the follow-up. He's a side out. You can side him out between games because going second, this card's terrible. So yeah, most of our graveyard is dead, and this card's not really doing anything right now. It's DPE dodge fodder. If we want to pop something else on our field. For some reason, if they were to Kelbeck us, we could have popped this. So there we go. That is a test hand with this, my version of Omni-Heroes. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. For those of you who sticked around to the end, as we kind of scoop this all back up, time to check out the jank setup that I promised showing everybody. So this is my first YouTube video. I do not have a nice camera. I don't have a phone stand, none of that. So I'm filming on my phone on a spatula taped to my monitor. This is my desk, messy, blah, blah, blah. Matt's here on top of it's kind of like overlapping with my monitor stand. Just got a normal desk light here, painting cups, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of just showing you, no matter how much you think the barrier of entry is for making content on YouTube, and I thought this for a very long time. I was like, oh, I don't have a good enough setup. I can't make anything. Just do it. Just go ahead and try it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope to post more videos soon. Maybe I'll take a video at Locals and introduce you guys to Adrian. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.